promise to help each other, celebrate the joys of life, and to console each other.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show. Later, you know what it is. Hey, Hamsolo. It's time, baby. Low. Let's turn out we do. Hey. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we hit. They said we said on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. 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 Man, I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you in red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make it bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go.
Oh man, what's cracking? Good to have y'all here with me. Those of you that are coming and flooding in through the chat here momentarily, and then also good to have these two members back on my panel. Big Cloud, good to see you. Still Rain. It's been a long time, brother. It has been a long time coming. So I'm really happy to have the both of you here back here with me on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel. What's cracking with the both of you? Let me hit with Still Rain first.
Man, it's just been I've been here recently. I haven't watched the Fallout show still, but I did get a little bit of the bug. Yeah, I don't watch TV like that, dog. I'd rather spend my time playing games, right? But nonetheless, because of a little bit of hype, I did decide to give Fallout 4 another shot. I did try 76, but it was so blurry and all over the place on PC, at least for me. Try to drop some mods in it and make it look a little bit better, but I just went back to 4, got about 700 mods in there, put a collection on, and I'm actually having the best time in Fallout that I've ever had in comparison, because I did play Fallout 4 previously. I want to say probably about a year ago, did something similar. I played it for a few hours, and I was like, yeah, I can see how I can get into it. But the problem with me is I have to be in that moment, right? And if it's not pulling me in that moment, then I'm gonna pull out and I'm gonna drop out and play whatever I'm feeling. So it's been a really good time, man. I'm probably close to 40 hours in now at Fallout 4 and having a really good time with it, man. So me, I've just been gaming, keeping it live on Uncut on Living Split Screen, as you know we do every Saturday morning. And other than that, man, I'm excited to be here to get into this topic. What about that gaming?
This man said, "Pull out no Diddy." All right, so but anyways, what's cracking, Big Cloud? Good to see you. Good to have you here, brother. What's cracking with you? What's been popping with you?
Nah, you already know, man. Every day, different day, same, I guess, community that we in at this point. But I appreciate it. It's good to be back. Good to talk to you as always. Steel, the homie there. Everybody in the chat. Hope you're doing well. You already know me, man. Actually, a PlayStation gamer who actually is playing his PlayStation, playing his games. Dark Souls 2, about to platinum that, working on that. We got Dark Souls 3 out.
He went back to 2. Okay.
Your boy Big Cloud's playing Master Duel recently, and then of course I got a game that I actually got early that I got to do a review for Lognet. So yeah, aside from that, the gaming never stops. Hence why I don't be on social media and hardly drop content on YouTube. But you know how that be. Plus my girl keeps me busy. So there you go.
Hey, there you go.
Now Steel brought this up, so I might as well ask you: did you get into the Fallout TV show at all?
I actually did not. I've been more my attention, like in terms of TV shows, I've been watching more of the Chucky TV show than anything. I've not.
Come on,
that's what I've been on.
This man like that creepy shit. All right,
hey, I'm still waiting for Cobra Kai. You feel me? I'm a simple guy. I'm the same.
Fair enough. Well, your boy Hamsolo here having a pretty good damn day. Got off of a pretty wild weekend. I don't know why I allow myself to argue with fools on Twitter anymore.
you're
I need
different.
to
You got
fall back on that
Yeah.
for real.
I need your
Um,
patience. I can't have that anymore. I don't have that, unfortunately. I don't know
Yeah,
how you do it anymore.
I'm sitting there arguing with Mr. Three Horizons, and it's just going
no.
nowhere as usual. It's just going nowhere as usual. So, anyways, other than that, I've been playing a lot of Fallout, but I ended up kind of falling back off of that because I felt like I was just playing. So, oh shit, what's cracking? Let me add brother to the screen because he lurking right now. You can't really see him, but there you go, right there. This sucker right here. Oh shit. All right. So but yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Starfield.
Okay.
Or actually a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
Starfield as of lately. I've been enjoying the hell out of that. I'm actually trying to get back into it because the DLC is going to be dropping at some point, and Todd came out and said that they're planning on talking about it sometime soon. So I figured why not? Let me hop back into Starfield and see what it's all about. Some more. I mean, I already got like 13, 14 days of time in it.
Enjoy it, man. It's terrible, it's on Xbox, but when it
it's
going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Looking at the sales figure, apparently, these Xbox games outperform a PlayStation. But we don't get to that though. We don't get to that.
All right.
We don't get to that yet, Joe. Wait, not yet. Unless you want, that's you. I can't.
So I have been playing, a lot of Starfield, and I tell you what, you guys, if you haven't jumped back into Starfield on PC in a hot minute, they got AMD's frame generation available for it now. And for a brother like me that doesn't have a 40 series card, I'm in the 3000 series still. I can't take advantage like K Mega can with his 40.
Oh,
tell
Mega.
Yeah,
Vegas in the chat.
This fool got a 4080 and whatnot with the whole frame generation and whatnot, and DLSS.
It's still keep it Xbox. Don't get it twisted, sucker.
Oh,
that DLSS provides that frame generation.
Like that.
FSR 3 came through with the frame generation for Starfield, and I tell you, once you add that to the game, like I'm running around getting a pretty regular 120. Easy, and it goes all the way up to like 150. My monitor only goes up to 144, but it doesn't really go any lower. Like when you go into those big dense areas, it doesn't really go any lower than like 70 or 80, and I like that.
Still a big jump. That's still a major jump. There's still some optimization that needs to happen. That's kind of crazy, but.
But that's a big difference from the beginning when the game first came out, right? Because we were talking about
better than 40.
The PC was jumping down my 3080 was jumping down to like 30, 40 FPS.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like that for me. But anyways, K Mega, good to have you back. I'm with this sucker again on another show the same damn day. This ain't gonna be good. But anyways, how you doing, man? How's the rest of your day been since the last time I talked to you, brother?
Man, it's been all right. We approaching my Rachel Maddow time, but you know what? It's all right, man. I said to myself,
hey yo,
you know what I'm saying? I said to myself, man, my brother Hams invited me, to see if I wanted to come on in and had to show some support. And then I ain't talked to my brother Steel in a minute.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know that you was gonna have this PlayStation sucker on here, but man, no, it's good to see you. You know what I'm saying? You said a guest, and I was like, oh, no.
You talking to a true PlayStation, not your PlayStation.
That is true. That is true. I have to. There are a few out there that I have to that I will respect, and you are one of them. So that's good shit. But no, it's good to be on the panel, man. Thanks for the invite, brother. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. So without any further ado, let's go on ahead and just get into some of the subjects right here. If you guys look close and see this article that I pulled up, you may look at the date and be like, the fuck did you pull that up for? That's November of 2025. What are we fucking doing here? What we're doing is talking about what's relevant. Okay. And it just so happens to seem that this little article right here is still relevant 3 years later, almost 3 years later,
Mhm.
right? So I'm
Oh,
actually going to go a little backwards on this one, and I'm going to ask K Mega
Oh,
to speak on how he feels about gaming going to PC more and more and more. And as you know, and as a lot of people know, K Mega recently upgraded his whole PC build. He was rocking, what was it, like a 2080 Super?
2070. Yeah, 2070.
2070 Super
Mhm.
before, and this man
Still solid,
went down to Dallas and let the racks fall.
Hey, you're seeing a trend here, though. All the real gamers just, investing into the rigs. That's all it is. They're not complaining about shit. That's all.
Nah,
Nobody's
not at
complaining.
all. Not at all.
That's the sad part. Disconnect.
Right. That's it. But yeah, no, I seen the writing on the wall last gen. When everybody was all on Microsoft's ass about what they were approaching to do in 2016, I looked at it differently. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm cool with that. The gaming PC that I had at the time, it was hot garbage. I had like the CPU was an AMD black something, and
Yeah, your
man,
CPU was holding you back.
yeah, man, it was awful, right? And so I upgraded around the time when Steel was around on GRG and stuff, and he was doing his thing, and so I upgraded, and then I got the 2060 at first, but then I was trying to, if you remember, I was doing my PC on my own, and I burned it. I set my PC on fire.
Yikes.
Damn Mega a fool, boy.
so I was like, okay, you know what? I've been out the game for a minute, but I got lucky. I had a warranty, and so they took it back, and then I had a little bit of money. I had a little bit of extra, so I went ahead and I upgraded to the 2070. So that was what it was. But originally it was going to be the 2060. But anyway, so I went ahead and I started doing that. But the reason why I went ahead and I upgraded is because of what they were doing in 2016, and then they slowly started integrating more and more games over on PC, and they started doing this thing called Play Anywhere. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Now the potential of this is really cool. So if that's the case, and then that's when before they were at the time talking about the 40 series, and it wasn't even nowhere to be seen or heard at the time. It was just rumored. And I'm like, if they're taking leaps and bounds like that, I might go ahead and make the jump. I'm just going to see what's going on with it. Well, I just got so when you go into this coming up generation, and I'm fine with the Series X and of course the Series S. I got them both. And I had the PlayStation 4, and I was considering getting a PlayStation Pro, but I was like, oh no, I'll just go ahead and get the PlayStation 5. The thing that changed everything for me was when PlayStation decided that they wanted to start putting their games over on PC. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of double dipping, triple dipping. You know what? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm blessed to have the money to buy these games at this, at this clip, but I could do more with this money. So how about I save a couple of chips, and then I go ahead and I upgrade, do a major upgrade, get a high-end rig, and then go ahead and then, for anybody that is a PlayStation first gamer and they're looking at getting Xbox games but don't want to buy the console, this is the perfect opportunity for get you a PC. So I just did the opposite. There's no need for me to get a PlayStation 5. I can be patient. There's so many games that's in Game Pass. There's games on Nintendo.
You won't have to be patient for long.
Right, well, I know.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been talking about it. Everybody on this panel has been talking about it. The day is going to come when these games start coming day and day from PlayStation to PC. It's just smart business. Also, you could just see already. Look at Helldivers 2 and the success that it's having.
A lot of people are sleeping on the success of that game. They think, oh, and that's just because it's a service game. It's like, no, game they struck where the iron was hot, and it became this global thing, like something that the devs didn't even see coming. Number one, and look at the sales figures of that. What were the sales figures? It was 60-40, 60% for Steam, 40% for PlayStation. Now Sony is supposedly, I'm not sure if it was confirmed yet, right? But it was supposedly going around that Sony's in talks about bringing that to Xbox. If Sony brings that to Xbox, first of all, it should be, like you just said, Steve, it should happen because number one, it's never a bad thing that more gamers get eyes on the product and get their hands on the product. Why? This gives you a quicker route to the sequel. This gives you you a faster route to more content. This gives you an even more bigger emphasis on updates and scope of the game when they do these big performance patches and of course content drops. There's so much that they can do with Helldivers. Like if you watch Starship Troopers, there's a lot of like ideas they could have took from that and thrown it. Like, y'all remember that training section in the movie where it was like red versus blue when they were shooting each other? You could add that to Helldivers and add like a Call of Duty aspect. Like that can be done in Helldivers. You can just call it training. But again, these are things that can be done. But it's exciting because it boosts the budget. Even Sean Layton said this, and a lot of people still just don't quote this. I don't understand it. Like he flat out said, "Don't get bent out of shape because someone else gets to play a game on another platform. Focus on supporting your favorite developers." Keyword: support your developers. Well, unfortunately, PlayStation fanboys have not been supporting PlayStation developers to that extent. That's why we have gotten
to that earlier today. I said that earlier today.
It's not even a dig. It's just you look at the numbers and you look at the You look at the numbers. You look at the situation, right? Yeah. If these dudes are celebrating 2 million sales for legacy franchises,
that you know what? And that's the crazy thing, because just last gen, we were over here, the Xbox gamers, when we were down, you know what I'm saying? Like we were bragging about Quantum Break hitting over 2 million. We were bragging about Sunset Overdrive.
And that was considered a flop.
And that was considered a flop. That was considered
a flop. They look at the install base, say, "Oh, 2 million, it's bad, blah blah." But here we are with Sony,
with 50 million
consoles. All the casuals, right? All the casuals are on this console, and yet these games are selling. You go and you look at the games like Last of Us Repackaged. I'm gonna call it that. Last of Us Repackaged didn't do no insane
repackage.
But here's the thing about this: you're seeing a disconnect here because a lot of people are putting the exclusives. I hear so many ridiculous things in regards to exclusives, you know, whether they go day and day or not. Like you say, like, "Oh, it devalues the console."
No, it don't.
And it's like here's the reality of this stupid this conversation. If exclusives were that damn important, they would have been selling the console to begin with. They're not selling the console. What's selling the console is the third-party games. Ham, you already know what games they are. The Maddens, the damn NBA Lives, all this shit. These are the games that the casuals are getting. The casuals usually go for what's the trending console in the current market. That's all it is. And they just go and buy their third-party games on it. And that's pretty much it. First party has always been icing on the cake type of situation. That's it. They're showcase pieces to show off hardware. You can say that for Xbox with Helldivers 2. I mean, I'm not Helldivers. Hellblade 2. You can say that with Gears 6 when you eventually get to Gears 6. You can say that with Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation. Like these games are more of set pieces to show off hardware. That's all they've ever been. But the fact that people think that these are the be-all end-all and they're acting this offended when these games go to another platform, right? But then they look stupid when they say stuff like, "Oh, and you heard this game, Mega." They go, "Oh, I'm waiting for it on sale," but they hype it up on Twitter.
Right.
And then they look dumb when the game doesn't get a sequel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not paying
the thing. And that's the thing. Like it's like, and this is the thing. Like when you have PlayStation guys like you, and then we were just like we were saying on the show earlier, Ham was bringing up Jack Move Johnny and others that are real about the situation and actually want the PlayStation community to actually pay attention to what's going on. Everybody like you and others get put in timeout or get told about themselves as though that y'all the bad guys when y'all are just telling the truth. And it's apparent. Like Final Fantasy should not. It was birthed pretty much. It was birthed on Nintendo, but it was actually got its true credibility on the PlayStation. There is no way in hell that game should be. And when you have 50 million and you get less than 2 million, or under 3 million,
you know what breaks my heart?
It just doesn't make any sense.
It breaks my heart. I got hit, and this is why it's so funny. It's why I love what I do to an extent. Like if you go back to Returnal, I remember I flat out said, "Damn, Returnal's marketing." Yeah, I remember Returnal's marketing was not.
Returnal was fire.
Yeah, it was, but the marketing wasn't.
It wasn't good at all.
It was not that great. But marketing was horrible. And I was sitting going, "Damn, I don't even know much about this game. I don't know what to really expect from this game." So I was giving it a hard time. Anyway, I buy the game. Long story short, I bought it day one. I'm playing it. I asked Sony for an interview with the audio engineer of the game, and to my damn surprise, he was in the chat with Housemark in the chat, and we were watching me play the damn game, laughing at me dying in the damn game. We got approved. But what's funny about that is dudes argued with me saying that the game is this, that, and the third. And then you go to the sales figures. The damn game only sold like 100,000 units at that time. Now it's like at 1 million with the release of it on Steam. Keyword, with the release of it on Steam, it's now at 1 million or over 1 million. That makes no sense. But these are the same dudes that hype these games up. Y'all hype it, y'all talk about Xbox with these damn controllers, but here y'all are, y'all buying PlayStation Edge controllers. Y'all talk about peripherals. Here y'all are buying these damn portals. Unnecessary stuff. Like in a reality, here's the thing. And I found this out, and it makes all the sense in the world, especially with the way things are going, especially if Sony does open up Helldivers to Xbox. For the most part, I don't know if y'all would agree or not, but if this feels more like they're not selling you anything, they're selling you more of an ecosystem, both sides. Basically, one particular way for you to experience it, that particular ecosystem. If you want to go and play it on a mobile device, you can do it. If you want to stay true to a dedicated console, you have that option. That's why series consoles are there. That's why you got PS5 and eventually the Pro unit. Or you can just get anything else, your PC, like we all have PCs here. We all have good rigs here. We know what we want. We want power. The thing is, too, a lot of people flip-flop on this power narrative. They act like they want performance, but then they settle for games being at 30 FPS.
That's right.
You see this. They'll talk about PS5 Pro is going to fix this with super sampling, but it's like, if you pay attention, if you see how things work, and you can just use the Xbox as a good example, but it's with Xbox One X. They use Tomb Raider as an example for showing off the power. That's an older title, but guess what? Newer titles didn't show no big improvements like that. It was mostly visual. This is always going to be the exact same thing. Why? Because corporations are going to choose visual over performance. Why? A good example is this. Is because of that showcase type of feel. Look at Spider-Man 2 when we first saw the gameplay of Spider-Man 2. What was dude saying? It doesn't look that good. It looks more of the same. But then we saw the polished, finished version. They said it looks amazing. It's like you can't win, so they're going to focus on stuff like that. That's why it's hard to be excited for anything hardware related for consoles. And in many ways, you bought more hardware than software as of late.
Right, and I want to hear what Rain has to say, but I just want to make this point to piggyback off what you're saying, though, is that this is the contradiction. And it's really bad also on the Xbox side as well, because they're all talking about frames. Yeah, no side is perfect of this, but this is the thing. Like, you cannot 1 minute come talking about, well, I want Hellblade is going to be 30 frames per second on consoles, but then yet you're supporting Dragon's Dogma, or you was supporting Plague's Tale Requiem. Like, there was no bitching and moaning then. Only thing that it was just praise for those type of games. And the reality of it is that, listen, if you really want it, if you're a frames person, then you should just go ahead and just buy you that PC that you claim to hate, because you're talking PC terminology. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no, and the way both sides are being aggressive in terms of pushing you into that conversation. Hey, look, PC is not a bad option for you, all this stuff, because you're getting all the bells and whistles. Not to mention, you don't got to pay these subscription services. I want you to really think about that. You don't got to pay subscription services. You get the true definitive edition of these games. I'm not talking about no director's cut fake. No, you get the full-fledged bells and whistles. You get full access to ray tracing. You get all the bells and whistles. These dudes think they get good on console. Wait till you get a good rig and a good monitor, and you play that on PC, and then you come back and you tell me who's really out here winning when it comes to visual fidelity. It is a big difference when it comes to this. And dudes go, well, how come PC gamers get away with this? Well, because PC gamers are a different beast.
Well,
they don't stand for stuff.
What I always like to bring it back to is, like, when it comes to PC, and again, this may just be me, PC is such a multiversal piece of hardware overall. Anyway, it is hard for me personally to always limit the PC. It's for gaming. That's why I hate when I don't like when people buy PCs for gaming. That makes no sense, because you're spending an absurd amount of money for something that you may not quite understand, or going to have to fiddle with to get whatever that you're looking for. Whereas that was the whole point of these consoles. And I think the biggest thing for me, at least when I look at it, the conversations that I like to get into with it is all about how they've been marketing these the hardware to us. If you're going to tell me 4K 60 is what we're supposed to get this generation, then I, as a consumer, I need to be getting that. We should not be getting, for an example, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that is not even 1440p in its performance mode to get 60 frames. Now, to your point, Big Cloud, is that because they will always focus on fidelity first. Developers want to see their pretty game. Unless a developer comes straight out and says, look, we focused on performance, we wanted to be smooth, it's about the gameplay, all the things that I've been trying to hit over the head for years. Like I care more about the detail in these games. No, I don't care about ray tracing, because even on PC, ray tracing is so irrelevant to me. Why am I sacrificing performance, almost a 40% performance loss, just to have ray tracing? When it's, and again, yes, does it make it more appealing? Sure. But is it enough for me to take me out of the experience? No, it's not in most cases, because most games are pretty good looking as they are. We're in that kind of generation right now. So it's like, as far as like PC hardware and the console hardware itself, the barriers are being broke down because there has not been a console to sell like the PlayStation 2 did.
Yep.
Nintendo Switch, I cannot put in that same conversation, because the Nintendo Switch doesn't have the same reasons why people are buying that device like the PlayStation 2 and even the PlayStation 3 had. As an example, the DVD player, the Blu-ray player, there was other things to be part of your entertainment system.
Yeah.
These companies wanted the separation in the box, because that's what got people to have the arguments in the community, say, oh, mine's better, this is better, and us constantly engage. Now, and I think more so, I say this started with my generation with online gaming. I'll be real with y'all. Until I jumped into this community, and there was a little bit of that during the PlayStation 3 era, really, where it became competition, became more of a head. But for me, I never looked at games like, oh, I'm playing this game because it's on this platform. When I played Halo because I loved the way Halo played. I liked the way it looked. It spoke to me. Gears was the same exact thing.
It's
like
funny. These games just hit different, bro. When you play them on PC, they hit different.
They really
do. Like look at Days Gone. Days Gone is a prime fucking example.
That is a fact.
How good that is.
That is a fact. But I think.
Oh shit, my bad. Let me stop you real quick. I got a quick question for you, Steel. I got a quick question for you, Steel, and then then you may continue. Absolutely. As you just got done alluding to, you usually don't recommend people that are just gamers to just go on ahead and spend $3,000-$5,000, right?
No.
But what would you, as a person that is in the PC, tell somebody that is, looking at these console boxes and saying, you know what? I do want a little bit more, but I don't want to break the bank.
Tell them to get the $600 pre-builds. AMD literally has been a blessing.
You could do that, but again, it's still not what people are looking for. Even at $600, anything under $1,000, you're not going to get the blend between quality and the performance that you're trying to get. It's just not going to work. Now, if you're using aftermarket parts, you're going to eBay, you're getting good deals. For sure, you could probably get something fire. But I'm always going to suggest for people to get a console first, because that's the whole reason it exists. Now, as a consumer, it is your right to say, look, you told us about 60 frames. You were talking about this last generation, and this was supposed to be different. Why are all the things that y'all talked about, velocity, cracking, how they're supposed to be implemented? Now, I do know that they are implemented in different ways for these games, but again, we're going to end up getting to an end of a generation where, just like Last of Us, the first one, PlayStation 3, I thought was dog water, but Last of Us ran on the PlayStation 3 at the end of the generation. We got Gears 5 towards the end of the generation for the Xbox One. You saw how beautiful that game looked. So again, we're going to be in another situation where that is what's going to happen. People have to understand what they are looking for as a gamer. What I go back to is know not only who you are as a person, but know who you are as a gamer. If you don't have the budget, and again, that's a reality of it. And I don't like when people turn this into a broke boy conversation, because that's not what gaming is about. Gaming is supposed to be about accessibility, having more people get invested.
Don't get me started at the start of this gen. Y'all remember
playing the way you want to, right?
No, no,
Exactly. Whatever you find satisfaction with, that's what you need to play. But do not be mad at the developer for telling you, hey, this game's gonna be 30 FPS.
Right.
You're on console. It is what it is. Now, complain, sure. You need to let them know that this isn't okay. It should not be this way. And we should not be getting games that are not even hitting 4K, even 1440p consistently in 2024. That makes no sense.
Well, no, I will have to, and it's not so much of a pushback because I agree with what you're saying, but this is the reality that I've known, and I'm sure I'm the oldest person on this panel. So it's like games, frames and everything, when it didn't matter for us when we was in the 80s, and it didn't really matter in the 90s
because it didn't affect the game.
It didn't affect the gameplay or whatever until that PC terminology came in, and they finessed us in 2013. That's what was the funniest thing to me, is that you had all of these people that were content creators, PC content creators, come and talk about the consoles, and then all of a sudden the console people started talking about PC. Like resolution. I never heard the only time that when I heard resolution, I'm thinking it was New Year's Eve, not about no goddamn console. And so therefore now you got these people talking about blades of grass and everything else. But then the one thing that is the reason why the showpieces will always be at the forefront, especially on console, is because that's what the console gamers want. They want to have those games to where for the people who aren't gamers to go in there and they see the new Maddens, they see the Hellblades, they see this, because the people that are looking at it that aren't gamers are saying, oh my God, that looks crazy. Games look so real now. They ain't caring about that game being 30 or 60 frames per second. So and the casuals don't give a damn either. As long as the game is fun to play, that's all that matters. So there will always be that for console, because the console gamer always want the flashy lights, the bells and the whistles. There has to be some kind of sacrifice, because those consoles will never be on the same tier as the highest end graphics card. It just won't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get me wrong, console, when we see these consoles, don't get me wrong, we all get excited. It's always cool to see new tech. Why? Because we all like new tech. We all like possibilities. Because why? Because new advancements in technology for console means even far more advancements. Guess what? In PC, technology moves on. So everybody was talking about SSDs. Consoles finally got SSDs. They were doing cool stuff. Instantaneous loading. We were like, damn, that's cool. But
the insanity behind people saying
you got dudes that said that it was
run
exclusive. Right. They said it was exclusive to consoles. And I was like, my guy, you do realize it's using x86 hardware architecture, right? That means it's PC. That shit's going to be moved on far past when eventually with PC. It's going to go forward. What you're getting is the half step. PC gets the full step. That's how it always has been. You get the entry level, they get the finished product. That's why you got SSDs that are putting the shame in the console right now, that are currently out there on PC. But people don't understand this, and they let this shit go to their head, and they go into these long ass Twitter spaces for it. It's like, these are the things people dedicate their time to. But when you ask them to support the developers, they're like, oh, I'll buy what I want. I'm waiting for the sale. You don't tell me what to do. But these are the same assholes that be trying to pull your account and ask you what you play. These are what I'm talking about. And I hate this. I hate this double standard. I hate this ass kissing. I hate it, because it's like, bro, if we can't be honest with ourselves, what the hell are we doing in this situation talking to begin with? You know what I'm saying? If we can't be honest and tell you what the hell a problem is, what the hell are we doing? You see what I'm saying? What is the point of talking about anything if you're just going to dedicate your platform to one side, but ignore the obvious bullshit that happens right in front of you in your side? I don't understand that. I just really don't. Sony charged you $70 out the gate for these games. Dudes made excuses saying, oh, get a new tax bracket.
Yep.
Hey, Bit. I haven't gone to you yet, even though you've been doing this the whole time. You've been talking the whole goddamn time. But I haven't got to you yet, and I got a question directly for you, since you happen to be, the PlayStation brother that happens to be on the podcast today. I'd like to say me and K Mega lean a lot for the Xbox. So does Steel, but he lets it be known that he's PC.
Steel has turned PC on me, bro. Yeah, he was an Xbox. That man. He got a bit of that juice.
Y'all got it twisted. Y'all got it all.
He got a pinch of that PC juice.
Maybe you can set me straight here in a moment.
I can't set you. I can't set you straight because no matter what, I'm always going to argue back on trying to put me in that particular. I don't fit in that.
Yeah,
It just don't make sense. Like before,
right.
sure, you know what I mean.
Can't.
Before, sure, you just can't do it now. It
No,
don't make
you
sense.
can't.
But so the question I got for you, is now seeing that, and you were alluding to this a little bit because you had your show this past weekend, and I got to ask you, with the whole implementation of PlayStation overlays on PC and whatnot, how do you think the dynamic within the community changes from PlayStation, and then all of a sudden you're starting to see people saying, just go get a PC, just go get a PC.
So I said this before we even got the overlay. I said, listen, when they eventually do go day and day, all these extremists that you see crying, that give you all these a billion excuses as to why they won't ever get a PC, guess where these dudes are gonna go? Nowhere. They're still going to be in the console. They're going to buy the console. Why? Because they love the one thing that has always sold consoles, and it hasn't been exclusive. You know what it has? You know what sells consoles? Simplicity. Sells consoles.
Yep.
Plug and play sells your console. That's why Sony has their consoles. Do you say Microsoft is leaving? Guess what? Microsoft's still making consoles. They ain't going no damn where. They're still giving you that option. And look, and you're seeing both dynamics, both sides copy each other. With Sony implementing the user interface, all this is basically telling you is just get ready to go here. Because when you're at this point, and still, you know, especially when you do this, you're like literally, they basically confirmed you're a half step away from day and day. That's not even a full step. You're a half step at this point away from them saying day and day. And you go back to the announcement or the last the last statement from Sony. This is from Herman Holtz. He said, we're looking about ways to improve our business, right? Our changing our strategy, go about this. Kenichiro Yoshida flat out said they're going to be more aggressive than they ever been with PC. I told people it's over. Exclusives are done. When exclusives doing 2 million, 3 million, and you got a 50 million install base, and y'all sitting here thinking that's something to brag about, when Nintendo does 10, 20, 15 with no problem, and then they give you the excuses. Those games are niche. Oh, if it's niche, why are we hyping it up? If it's niche and it don't look that good, why are we putting it on this pedestal? This is what I'm talking about. These are the hurdles we get into conversations-wise. It doesn't make sense. Everybody puts these games up. They set these games up for failure. And then they look stupid when the games don't get sequels. They get stupid when Sony doesn't take a risk. This isn't the PS3 gen where Sony had to throw stuff at a dartboard to compete. Right now, Sony's on top. They're number one right now. They got the cash in their pocket. But guess what? Now you're seeing that arrogant Sony. They're not even trying. They don't have they don't feel pressure. They don't feel the need to do this.
They better.
And I blame I don't blame Xbox.
You better look at that top 25. They better start feeling the pressure.
Bro, they ain't looking at nothing.
I blame the community for not demanding better at all. They accept the little stuff. They'll still accept whatever Last of Us joy. But let Hamsolo say, yo, the game is ridiculous that we're getting the same thing going from the same studio.
Oh no.
The studio.
Excuse that, Big Cloud. Where did factions go? So you can't even give me the original factions from the first game and in the second re-release of the remastered remake.
But you can charge me 70 for it and say, oh, it's worth 70 because it's got a new slab of pink. It looks like the CGI. Let me tell you something. It's still the same game. That does nothing for me.
Right.
Factions, I was all in. That was my go-to. That was one of my go-to.
That was going to be it.
That was going to be it. You already know.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what's funny though, and it's what's funny. The complacency kills me. Dude said, "Oh, you know what? I'm glad
we don't need it."
Factions. Let me tell you why. Because that would have destroyed their way of living. You know, that would have destroyed what PlayStation's about.
What?
Same assholes in Twitter space hyping this up, saying it was going to kill Gears and kill Halo.
How did you do it the first time?
Yep.
What are we doing?
The one thing this is why, as a fan, I'm a fan of PlayStation. Always will be. But why I've turned and say, look, man, if I want to, you know, say, well, I know this is one of the reason why I didn't give me a PlayStation 5, and I'm like, I will buy your games on PCs because those are short piece games, and I will play them at the best, best quality that I can get. But the thing to me is that when they talk about today's PlayStation compared to when PlayStation to me was absolutely unstoppable, was PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era, and even the PlayStation 3, the variety. We was talking about that earlier, the variety was insane. There was nothing that could touch that variety.
Yeah, Mega, the creativity was on another scale in the PS3 gen. You had so many games that you're now seeing sequels from that have become legendary franchises.
Yes.
I remember when Uncharted 2 dropped. We saw that trailer, and then we saw the gameplay. So, like, there is none of that happening with PS5. None of that. You're seeing more of the same stuff. Some surprises, right? But a lot of these surprises ain't hitting. Where's Ghost of Tsushima 2? Where are these big spectacle
I feel like that's coming.
But
it's definitely coming. But we got to get them. We got to pay them for when we pay, for the director's cut on PC and on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like they're just relying so hard on games that did do good in PS4 gen. Like they're hyping up Death Stranding 2. Cool. Kojima usually don't miss. I got no problem with Kojima. I love Kojima's games. But I'm like, bro, if we look at the volume, just go back to that word what you said, volume of games. Guess what? It's all been one studio. And that's been Insomniac Games. Insomniac Games is the only one keeping PlayStation in the light.
Well, they've been put into a box now. That's all. Their creativity is put on. It's just nothing on but Spider-Man and the Spider-Man universe. And then when they did have some creativity with that Spider-Man online game, that multiplayer game, the MMO or whatever, it got cut. And remember, that would be the perfect type of ingredient that PlayStation needs, right? Yeah. That's what PlayStation needs.
We're talking about recurring players. That was it,
right? And then you can, and if Sony would be smart, they were like, "Look, we're gonna put this on PlayStation on Xbox when we put that on PC, and when Nintendo get their new Switch, we'll put that there and make a killing." Because when I seen the trailers of that game, I'm like, wow,
a Sinister Six open world multiplayer game.
Bro, the concept,
guys. Everybody can have a different Spider-Man. We going through the city beating up.
Man,
yo, look at this real quick. I was sitting back thinking like imagine if they said, "Hey, we got Spider-Man 2 for you right now. Included in this game is gonna be the live service at some point down the line, and you're gonna be able to play it through." Bro, I would still have it installed on my PS5 right now.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 is great, but guess what? It's a single player experience, and it's not that long of an experience. Once you beat Spider-Man 2 and you do everything, guess what? You're done. You move on to the next thing. That's usually how it is with a lot of these games with PlayStation. You know, that's why they call them one and dones. A lot of these games are considered one and dones. Yeah. But the fact that they don't have a lot of games with that hook, right? I call it the hook, where you're constantly still on it. Like Last of Us had it with Factions. That's no longer a thing. It's gone. It's canceled with 2. They don't have that thing. They're talking about Horizon getting multiplayer. Okay, Horizon's cool, but we haven't seen this multiplayer thing. We haven't heard anything from Guerrilla Games. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what Sony Santa Monica is working on. You know, Deviation Game, which was supposed to be making the Call of Duty killer. Y'all remember that? That studio's gone. Sony London, gone. It's like, bro, there is nothing literally to jump out your seat over. Dude's talking about Fair Games. Fair Games, again, we haven't seen gameplay for Fair Games. I just don't.
I mean, the Order 1886 was a great game with a lot of potential. Great concept, great work. Yeah. And then but the media, the reviewers killed it as though it was supposed. It's an entry. Not all the time entry games is the game that propels.
I blame Sony's greed on the pricing. If they would have sold that at $40, we would have had a sequel. We would have had a sequel.
Oh my goodness!
Because everybody wanted more. That's the big problem about Order 1886. It ends so abruptly. Everybody wanted more of that game. I was like, damn! Look at the graphics. Look at the vampires. The damn werewolf. That's the best werewolves transformation I've ever seen in a video game. How well they made that shit look detailed. Unfortunately, we'll never see a sequel. Why? Because Ready at Dawn's owned by another company, and they're making VR titles. All that talent wasted making VR titles instead of making a masterpiece sequel like that. That would have been fire.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna stop y'all real quick because Chips and Sticks has a question from the chat. He says, "What single player game isn't a one and done?"
They all are. They all are one and dones. The thing that gets me upset the most, well, I'm not gonna say upset. I'm extremely jaded towards single player games. I've always looked at them ever since I was young, and we had to make the choice of what game I was going to play next, or what I was going to buy, or what I was going to trade in, or whatever. I always looked at single player games sideways because ever since I got that experience, as like Halo, for an example, 2001 at least. I even had it with Rainbow back in the day. But once you get that single player and multiplayer experience, and it's a combined package, it's kind of hard to go into other single player games and be like, man, I would love to still keep playing this game. That feeling that you get when you go through an amazing experience, like Spider-Man 2018. It was one of the greatest Spider-Man games that I've ever played to date. Yes, other ones have gone deeper in story and went different routes, but playing the way that you feel, I felt like Spider-Man. How dope would it have been if you would have been able to keep me in there with something simple, survival mode, things that Arkham Knight did, or the Arkham series just did overall. There wasn't things implemented in the game to sustain a player base. What if there was a co-op type mode and stuff like that?
You're saying they would have ruined the game. That these are the people that just are so vocal and they shouldn't be anywhere near a microphone. They don't understand how much benefit of what that would have been.
For me, single player games, unfortunately, and I think this is the tide that we're coming to, where all the big companies are seeing it, and you're seeing sales reflected. Single player games are always better later. There is no circumstance where it's not. That's kind of perfect example. Ghost of Tsushima. The version that's coming to PC is going to play better, look better, and guess what? We're actually going to hype up the multiplayer, which I hear nobody talk about.
Multiplayer is flames. It's flames.
And wait till I get to the mod support. Get to the mods.
Oh yeah.
Ronin Warriors. You feel me?
Now I agree. I agree with Rain, but there is some exceptions to the rule when it comes to single player games, because I can always go back and I can play The Witcher 3 and the DLCs. I can always go back and play Mass Effect. I did it. I mean, I went back, and I mean, I'm normally not like that. Once I beat a single player game, I'm usually done with it. I can go back and play Hellblade, even though I can never get that one last damn 100 achievement to make it a complete 1,000. But we got or trophy.
I think everybody got 9 out of 10.
Yeah. No, well, Phil Spencer got it, and then I'm like, well, okay, whatever. Somebody told him. He just went and called somebody. Man, what the hell you get this room? Anyway, but for me, I think single player. Okay, Amy Hennig, Mark Cerny, and Phil Spencer, and the CEO of EA, the former CEO of EA, they all came out publicly. Now, it's Phil Spencer and the former CEO of EA were the ones that got scrutinized by the media, but they didn't talk about Amy Hennig or Mark Cerny when they all came out and they said the single player games are an endangered species unless we change something within those games. And that is the reality of it. Sony is caught up into a damn if you do, damn if you don't moment, because that's what they're predicated off of. It's off of the single player experience. But they have to generate more money, and pretty soon the PlayStation fan base, if not already, by they're showing you that they're not going to keep buying these director's cuts or remasters, however you want to slice it, giving them the same game and then taking things from it. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work.
It's the timing of, you got to take that into account too. It's the timing of some of these, right? And also the ones that are specifically selected, right? Like, for example, Ghost of Tsushima, or not Ghost. Well, actually, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was barely 5 years old.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Last of Us 2 was like what, 3 years old? 2 years old?
2.5. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
If we're looking at, we're looking at the situation. So it's like you repackaging games have already had their shine. They don't need any upgrades, and then you're showing off these comparisons, which, by the way, you don't see a difference. It's insulting when you're asking for the full price of 70, especially when you don't have the full bells and whistles. You don't have anything extra, and then do hype up a cosmetic stuff like changing outfits and stuff like that. That's like, bro,
additional mode.
If you're taking like key stuff out, especially when you're making it easier, like I remember Last of Us had speed run mode, stuff like that, right? But there's no trophy for speed running it out like that. What's the point of having that in the game when nobody's going to use it? and you're taking all this stuff. You're just making it easy. You're making it casualized. That's what I call it casualized. These are things that I'm not with. I can't get behind it. It's like, bro, because y'all have all this talent in the world, and y'all could be making so much more. And we know because we've seen Sony do much more. Hell, we've seen Microsoft do even more. But y'all can do so much more, and y'all doing the bare minimum, and then y'all acting like, yo, we supposed to just accept this and jump for joy. Sorry, I'm just not. Like that weird game where dude was like losing his balance. I'm talking about it's like a little walking game.
Oh, baby step.
Like, why is that at a showcase? Why couldn't that just be a tweet on Twitter? Why do I care that you got that exclusively? How's this supposed to do? What value does that have for PlayStation?
Yeah, it doesn't play to that. It doesn't play to their identity for sure.
That's the thing, and because they made their identity into what it is, right? Like you see, like Nintendo can come out and they can show anything and everything, and they'll be fine. Xbox is at that point now to where they can show anything and everything. Now, the one thing that will always be the knife in Microsoft's back is people saying, well, I want more AAA, high fidelity looking games, and then when you get it with Hellblade, then you're saying it's 30. What? Anyway, but that brings up that question. Is that wall we're at. It's like, listen, this is why limiting yourself is bad. Just picking allegiance is bad. Do what's good for you. And but this is the thing too, and this is me making my taking a shot at Xbox gamers out there, because a game that was an original piece that is an absolute gem. It is a classic already. High Five Rush. That game didn't get supported on Xbox like it should. It did not. Now the advertising was ass, of course, because it was a shadow drop, and Microsoft didn't really. They have a problem with that, but then they've been had a problem with advertising. Sometimes they'll hit, and then most of the times they shit the bed when it comes to advertising. But when you come with a game like High Five Rush, and everybody on this panel is talking about originality and a game that is just so different and it's fresh and it's got an old take from an old classic games, but with a new vibe, that game is absolutely great acting, great combat, all of that. And the Xbox community didn't support it. They did a PlayStation. They talked about it and didn't even a lot of the motherfuckers didn't even beat it.
I'll fight back for both sides. One of the additional reasons why I think Hi-Fi Rush didn't do well is because we're also in a different generation of gamers. What impressed me and what impressed us when we were little is not what impresses my kids or what impresses most of the people that are playing games right now who are growing up in it. That's not what they're looking for. So the Hi-Fi Rush is people can keep saying, oh yeah, that's supposed to be appealing to the kids. They don't care. You can say that those characters are cute and oh man, they should market. It wouldn't have mattered. Hi-Fi Rush is not going to sell consoles. That is the problem that we're in right now. There is no single game out that is going to sell consoles because this is not 20 years ago where there's a completely different ideology.
Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty,
Grand Theft Auto will come out on every platform.
Right, but it will sell consoles though.
But even that benefits every platform, not a singular platform.
You're talking about just exclusives, though. I got you.
Exclusives in totality. Okay. The whole ideology of what we grew up on, as we consider old heads in the ideology. At least that's what I like to call it. In today's era, gaming is just completely different. You want Halo to be what it was 20 years ago when Call of Duty is struggling, and people always complained about Halo being difficult to play.
Well,
here's the same thing.
The thing about Call of Duty to Halo, Call of Duty has had what's called a quality problem. You know what I'm saying? They'll overhype the game. They'll show off all this stuff, these new features.
Easy.
And I know. And they'll do the crazy. They got Eminem on the cover, bro. It's gonna sell just with
they're the peanut butter and jelly of video gaming.
They know how to do the promotion to get the game out there. People see it. They know how to use what celebrity for that particular moment to get the game out there. That's never really been their problem.
I think it's simpler than that.
Has been the quality, and that's keeping that engine. You know what I'm saying? Fixing the kill, the shoot first, die first mentality. Fixing the fundamentals. Fundamentals win you championships. That's the problem with Call of Duty. They never fix the fundamentals.
I got you.
I think even if they did fix the fundamentals
on that. Continue, y'all. My bad.
What?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I think even if they fix the fundamentals, it wouldn't matter because Call of Duty is an easy ass game to play. It don't matter which one come out. It don't matter when it come out. People are gonna buy it and play it because they know what Call of Duty is. The
Right.
difference with Halo is that you can't just jump into Halo whenever you want to and think that you about to go off like you can in Call of Duty. I cannot play Call of Duty for a year and drop into a multiplayer game and drop a 40 bomb like I just didn't, like I never stopped playing. Okay, maybe that's just a me thing, but I think that speaks to how easy of a game Call of Duty is. Just
I'll
like
say 27
Fortnite.
for me.
The
These
whole
old fingers has gotten old. These fingers have gotten
There you
old.
even Fortnite for the first 3 hours of your experience, it's hyping you up mentally because you're catching bodies against bots, and it doesn't tell you this. Right? So you're like, oh man, I'm super nice at Fortnite. And then you face real people and you're like, oh man, I'm not that nice at this game. That is Halo's problem.
Well,
you can't do nothing about
the
that.
onboarding.
The game easier.
But the one thing I will say,
certain games have
but
that.
the one thing I will say about Halo is that Halo keeps changing. Like
that's a fact.
Halo 5 had the perfect recipe in my opinion. They gave up, and I know that there was a lot of people that didn't like that. But what they could have done is no. I'm going to be I'm going to be quick with it because you know how I get about it, especially you know how I love my Halo 5. But if they could have kept a Halo 5 type of online thing and did that with what they do it with Infinite, and then always keep adding on to the Master Chief Collection to make it more modern feeling. That's would have been the solution because you would have had some people that love the old way of the way the old Halos played with a little modern twist to it, and you would have had what Halo 5 was, and then you could have had both worlds in my opinion. But they changed it, and now here we go. And like you said, like Rain said, the gamers are kind of like, man, hell no. I come in here and then they had bad desync issues. The launch was absolutely well. The launch was fine, and then after like a month and a half, then it just turned into complete shit for about 2 years, and then it starts kicking in, and then people are already at this time is playing other games. So you know that so Halo's got to reinvent themselves in a different way for the modern times. Even though I love Halo Infinite's gameplay, it still feels old compared to what these kids want to play these days. And you know, they got to find that strategy. I don't know what
it's just easy to play. These kids don't like competition.
No,
they don't like competition like that. I'm telling y'all.
I see that with fighters I play.
That is the problem right there. That is the problem. There are certain games that do separate themselves out at a certain point. My problem, to your point, K Mega, is that the way that you fix that is that you need devs who just create a game and stand on their game instead of listening to their community. Absolutely. That was Gears' problem. Because the thing about certain games like this, and even factions, once you get to a certain level, it's only going to be a certain type of player that you're going to be playing against. Casual people don't want to deal with that after a 40-hour week. You just get off of work, kids, or whatever else is going on. You not trying to deal with that. Where that's what, to my point earlier about COD, for an example, it's just it's on and off. You don't have to think about it. It just works. Either you like it or you don't. We're just in a completely different space right now is my overall point. And I think that's why you're starting to see this complete change in ideology between both sides. PlayStation forced Microsoft to look at shit differently. Whether you want to say, oh, PlayStation ran Microsoft out, no, okay, you can consider, but you wanted competition, right?
Ain't that crazy?
Microsoft said,
though? Like PlayStation forced them to look at shit differently. They changed it. They did Game Pass, et cetera, et cetera. Now look at PlayStation doing the very same thing. Microsoft is doing, but people said that was a flop. I'm like, bro, y'all looking at it wrong. Yeah, what's going on here? So
I got a quick question for you guys on now.
They was bringing a shit ton of revenue. Sony wants that type of revenue.
So my question to y'all now is like, so Xbox has been kind of known for the past few generations, or pretty much since its inception, as a multiplayer type of device to be able to play on. PlayStation has had its moments in the shine, but has never been really known as the multiplayer box. What do you think is kind of missing with them and consistently having an influx of multiplayer games? And then keep in mind, they announced, hey, we're going to do 12. And then that falls apart.
I'll be real quick on this. There's two main factors to this. On the Xbox side, the problem is exactly what Rain was alluding to. They listen to too many people in the community, and they fuck up a game that is good and has potential to keep growing to people to adapt to, instead of ever changing and then trying to do something on the flip, and then those people don't feel that. And then Microsoft's advertising is not good. It's okay at times, but it is bad. And so hopefully now with this, they got ABK, they can get that hype level for any game that they got. Talk to those people at ABK and help them work on getting that hype level back to the way that it used to be when a new game is being announced, especially a multiplayer game. The thing with PlayStation is that PlayStation is, like I said before, is only labeled as a single player box because the media has done that for them. Because the media was all about saving single player game when multiplayer games was taking over last gen and still taking over. The reality is multiplayer games is the ones that make the money. It ain't the single player games. Very few single player games make the money. And then when they do, they kind of evolve, kind of like what Grand Theft Auto did and added a multiplayer, right? Because that is just where the revenue comes from. So what PlayStation has to do is, and I think what they did, the strategy of getting rid of people that had from the old guard to think of the old traditional way, is now kind of start from the bottom and build a foundation to get these online games out and let people play them. Because we know PlayStation is going to advertise their ass off when they feel that they got the right type of game. Now, Helldivers 2, that seems like maybe a different story, but that's not owned by PlayStation. I thought it was, but they just published it. So when they have their own game like Marathon, or let's just say the one game with the burger, I forgot what that game is called. But they just showed the trailer of some kind of big burger, and it's a space game
bouncing around.
Concord, right?
It's supposed to be a multiplayer game too.
Right. If those games look like that they're going to hit, then guaranteed that the advertising is going to be solid. So that's what PlayStation has to do: start up from the bottom and work their way up. They'll have the advertising. Microsoft has to get their advertising right and just stick to their plan and stop listening to everybody to try to make everybody happy. You're just not going to do that.
So back what he's saying about listening to the community. So that's a double-edged sword, right? Yeah, you don't want to listen to everybody, but there is a select community I would say you should have listened to. The reason why we don't have multiplayer games like that is because they didn't bring back franchises that already have multiplayer that could have benefited you. For example, SOCOM is one. You could have brought back Resistance. You could have brought back MotorStorm, etc. for an option. These are games I'm thinking off the top of the head, but they're a
Uncharted was one too, right?
Mag was.
I never played Uncharted, so it's like. See, they could release that right now with the multiplayer, and I'd be like,
there's Mag, Haze. Yep, Haze had multiplayer.
Mag, Haze,
and it's like, bro, all these games, Warhammer, like you had a lot of games. Warhawk, that's right, Warhammer. You had a lot of games that had potential for multiplayer, but you're not embracing it. And then you have a team like Insomnia being creative with Spider-Man, giving you a multiplayer experience, and you're saying no to this. These situations, it basically just confirmed what we all talked about before. Last month on the Omega show, and I was like, bro, they've used Call of Duty as a crutch, and they gotten too lazy when using Call of Duty as a crutch. Call of Duty is on every platform. Everybody can get Call of Duty. You see what I'm saying? It's not helping your situation. Yeah, you're getting that deal. Okay, cool. But having your own stuff can make more people gravitate to the box as it is, because guess what? They got more online experiences. Everybody loves to be competitive. They love to compete with people. That's why that new game Marathon is a big deal for Sony, even though it's going to be, on Xbox or whatnot. That's another big deal. I don't know. I can't speak on Fair Games. You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't seen Fair Games. I can't speak on Concord. These games, we need gameplay for. They need to do a good job of actually making a good first impression.
Fair Games looks like the finals to me.
It kind of do, don't it? It kind of did. I was getting Payday vibes. That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
I was getting Payday vibes.
Yeah, more like Payday. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I was getting that completely. But again, like, it all comes full circle, bro. You have to put in the effort. If you're not putting in the effort and trying to sell us on the game and make that good first impression, then of course the game's not going to do good. A prime example of this is Foam Stars. Foam Stars was doomed from the start. And they should have never have signed a deal to make that exclusive to PlayStation at all. The beta that they gave out for, and dudes trying to cap for saying it was going to be this big thing. The damn game died as soon as Helldivers dropped. If you look at the numbers and you look at the recent news in regards to it, it lost 99.9% of its fan base, of its player base. It's done. If you go to Twitch, there's like 300 people probably watching it. 200. The highest I've ever seen was 700. And guess what? That was 2 streamers. Think about that. These are decisions. Like y'all, they're greenlighting games like this, but you're not greenlighting games like Infamous.
Do you feel like they made a mistake with timing, though, with it, possibly even? Because I mean, there is a while. I feel like more now than ever before, games are kind of like.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Overlap. I get what you're saying. Yeah, like in a month. Right. But here's the thing: if that was the case, though, Sony wouldn't have ever dropped their game like Horizon, for example, in that one particular month when we had like 4 other games. We had Gran Turismo. It was 2 other games I forgot. But y'all know what I'm talking about. When Forbidden West dropped, it was like 4 games. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring dropped.
It was like
Zelda was just a month after that. So
right. It was like 4 games in 1 month. So really, I don't really like. Yeah, you could say that could play a factor, but there's also a thing called like. That does work. That does sometimes work. But there are other games in situations like Foam Stars that were just doomed from the start. Ain't nobody about to play this and be serious. Come on, y'all talking about bubbles, but you got Splatoon that's shooting paint. What seems more appealing? Y'all shooting bubbles or shooting paint? Come on, ain't nobody about to do this. Like that was just a terrible look for PlayStation, and they shouldn't have never greenlit that ever.
Still, you got anything to say before I move on?
No, the only thing I was going to drop in is. I think the main thing that answers like why we didn't get a Spider-Man multiplayer is because they're paying too much to develop these games. Why does Spider-Man 2 cost $300 million to create and you reuse the same assets from the same world?
Well,
I get I get all the updates and I get it's not easy, mocap, all of that.
So it's
there
not
has
just
to be
that.
a better way.
It's not just that.
In
Though,
the marketing.
the reason why that budget was so high, if you look at the timeline that was leaked, right? They basically cut content from the base game to make different experiences, and that's basically what they're doing. You notice you got Venom expansion, right? They talk about Carnage expansion, something like that. Then Venom, Venom's Carnage expansion. Then you got Wolverine. Then they was talking about the multiplayer for the Spider-Man joint. And then guess what? The big thing that we all kind of saw coming a mile away. I mean, if you pay attention to Sony and the way things are going, MCU, it kind of made sense. But the whole X-Men thing, that was a big reveal that got leaked. But at the same time, that's all they were doing. They were splitting all this stuff out to make room so they can have releases in between it. And that's basically how I was going to go.
And that's why I was bringing up earlier as well, even though Insomniac is very creative and right now could be labeled the best Sony studio, even over Naughty Dog.
Oh, Naughty Dog is falling from grace.
You're right. But they're hampered, right? Like, I mean, and it's kind of like what those studios that's kind of like what's happened with some of those studios from ABK. They were hampered on just doing Call of Duty, and now Sony has done the same thing with Insomniac on just the Spider-Man or Marvel series because that is their cash cow because they have to sustain this because Disney is just waiting for them to slip up.
Yeah, they want that cut.
They want that cut. And they want that Spider-Man franchise back under their pictures. So
and this is a terrible situation they're in too with the leak because again, remember that leak probably pushed everything back because it wasn't just like some little snippets of screen.
The whole game was
the whole source code, the whole project is on. So they have to go back from scratch and redo everything and rethink of everything that was already leaked. That's insane. That Sony that has gotten to that extent. You know what I'm saying? It's horrible. And the dudes who did it said it was so easy. I'm like, bro, this shit, bro. I can't.
It's nuts. Now, there was somebody that brought it up. Let me go look and see who said that because he hit it on the nail. Abacab 72.
I was gonna get to that game.
Oh, okay. But before you, so I ain't gonna touch that. But there was another thing from Poe, and this And this is another factor as well, other than what you're going to get to this. And as he said, superhero games aren't as popular as people perceive, in my opinion. We have so many big failures already: Avengers, Guardians, and Suicide Squad. I think the problem is that, look, we also keep talking about, and I'm currently playing the hell out of Suicide Squad. I like the hell out of the game. I think the game is good. Now, but no, my point of it is like this, is that people have been asking for creativity, uniqueness, things like that. I'm all for it. I know that it may seem quirky and things like that, but as long as it makes sense, I can dig it. That's why I'm digging Suicide Squad. But I think once the Deadpool Wolverine movie comes out, and then I think then the popularity will start coming back again, and then I think the games will thrive from it. But there is a fatigue right now.
I mean, certain characters I think are just like, I think they're just gonna do good regardless. Like Spider-Man's name, his presence, it's just that good. I mean, it's one of those type of things. It's like Batman. Like those games are gonna do good just off of name recognition by itself. But I do agree that there is fatigue, especially with the MCU. A lot of the movies are not hitting the way they were before, most because they have been very terrible writing and decision making. But no, I agree. Eventually, you can't keep riding the wave. Eventually, the wave dies down. You have to have something that increases that wave. And when they eventually do that's a Deadpool Wolverine movie, which by the way does look amazing. I don't know if y'all saw the trailer. That looks
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm finna check it out. I saw the trailer. I saw the pre-trailer for it yesterday when I was watching the playoffs.
I ain't ready.
But
They ain't ready.
I want to see it.
And they're best friends in real life, bro. We're about to go. This movie's about to go crazy.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's
ready.
Okay.
Okay.
They're gonna revive it, but go ahead.
Go ahead. Man.
So what I wanted to get into is what Abacab kind of alluded to, and I kind of wanted to kind of create my own question out of it. So Abacab with the 6 months member chat, which if y'all don't know, y'all can become members as well. It's only $2 a month. And keep in mind, super chats are available as well. But anyways, reading off what he had to say, he said, I think a lot of low sales are because of $70 games. Now, my question to you guys are, how much do you think the price tag of not only the $70 on the games, but also having to pay to go online to even play a lot of these games, and with the rising cost of these, I mean, as you see, Microsoft raised the prices last year, Sony raised the prices last year, and I'm assuming Nintendo, once they get their new console, it's going to be more internet integrated, and they're going to be raising the prices as well. It ain't gonna be no $20 a year bullshit.
It's gonna be like $30-$40 eventually.
Right. So I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think about the about these $70 and some of these extra price tags helping people want to merge over to PC now, meaning that they can get so much more without so much payment?
So games back then when we had shout out to you want to look at the chat? You want to get No, okay. But anyway, back then, so when games were $50, we weren't talking like this because we had so much leg room in the $100 range. Now it's costing us $200, just damn near $200 just to get 2 games. As it is, and the problem is the problem is with a lot of these $70 games, they don't feel like they're worth $70, and then they have the nerve to charge you for other content on top of that should be included for free. These are things that affect a lot of the game sales as it is too. I do believe that. Why? Because, and I say this, I look at it like a magnifying glass, right? The higher you charge me for a product, the more eyes are going to look at it. Like, what exactly am I getting for my money type of thing? You know what I'm saying? If the game looks bare bones, if it looks like it has a crappy multiplayer, etc., or a game like Foam Stars, right? Hypothetically, ain't nobody, you ain't getting the sell out of me for $70. You see what I'm saying? The game has to do X amount of things. It's got to have the bells and whistles. It has to look optimized. That's another thing too. A lot of these games are not optimized, and you're paying $70 for it.
Not day one.
See what I'm saying? So yes, I do believe that the $70 does hurt a lot of these games, especially new IPs. it's tough enough as it is for new IPs to grab a lot of like new audiences. It's tough.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Take
It might
your time.
wow us, right? Because we like new experiences. We like new tech. We like those spectacle type of experience when we
We're
see
gaming.
these games and consoles. We love that. But for a casual, they might look at that and go, okay, that looks good, whatnot. Yeah, that might not look good. That literally, it's always a slippery slope when you have a high price tag on something. So yes, the price tag definitely does affect sales a lot. New IP suffer the most when you have a high price tag. Established franchises usually are okay. Keyword usually, but it's not guaranteed. I'll just put it like that. Under there.
Yeah. I think the $70 price tag is definitely hurting. You ask me, I'm gonna go all the way on the consumer side. I'm gonna say games should be $49.99 until they figure out what happened to the value from my case not being there no more. What happened to all the games being digital? You saved all these production costs. That money was where did all that go? So that turned into profit. So not only did you start making additional profit already, but then you tried to come out here and boldface tell us that, oh, you need more money because things are becoming more expensive, instead of holding yourselves more accountable and figuring out more innovative ways to bring your games to life, right? Whatever your idea is. You ask me, I think $49.99 needs to be the price of games. If you're not going to give me an optimized game, if it's not going to be complete day one, if it's going to be missing features, if I'm going to get a better game 6 months later, nah.
I want you
games
to
don't need to
understand
be the
something
price
too
tag.
when you just said that. Helldivers was $40, just flat out. You want the
Talk
complete
about
edition? It was like
Power
$60.
was what, 35?
35. Look at these
That's
games.
perfect.
These games have done ridiculous in record time. And they and the studios have made their money back tenfold.
Yeah.
Hey, remember Naughty Dog developers
What
out there being like, something nefarious going on there. They're making so much money.
I mean, again, if you're making movie style games, look, and that stuff is expensive, and that's where we are right now. We as the enthusiasts, we are expecting a certain level of expectation, and there's more, and there's people who are even more over the edge than I am, because I graphically, like, I care, but at the same time, it's really not that big. I'm still playing 1080p high settings on a 3080 Ti, getting, Dragon's Dogma ran at sub 60 frames in the city, even at 1080p. So what are we talking about? If it's still having a hard time on PC, something is not connecting. The architecture, the design, we still have not got a game that was truly designed for their current generation, outside of Hellblade that's going to be coming around the corner.
That's going to be a good wow factor game. I think we all can agree. In terms of next gen, there hasn't been that crazy over the top game that made us go, damn, now this is next gen, you know?
Yeah.
It hasn't really been.
Actually, I give it to Horizon.
Let me rephrase that. No, I'm wrong. There was a game, but I'm talking about from first party wise. There hasn't been from the first party catalog, but there has been a game that has.
You think so? You think Horizon? I thought Horizon is beautiful, man. I'm thinking on my PC, man. God, I'll be like, damn, this game is gorgeous.
So you play it on PC though. You're playing it come full. You're playing the full vision. You see what I'm saying? On console, it looked good on console. I'm not taking that away from it, right? But it hasn't really been that insane. You know what I mean? That insane wow factor type of game that made you go, wow, this is it. There hasn't really been that. Yeah, you had some games that look great, like Horizon, like you just said. Spider-Man 2, I will put up high up on the list, right? But there hasn't really been that crazy one that just made you go, damn, you know what? This is really worth the investment. PS5, Xbox. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel like that anymore. You really don't feel it. The last game that's actually made you kind of think in that sort of situation was GTA 6. But guess what? GTA 6 is not exclusive to either platform. That's legit a multiplayer. That's made by Rockstar. And we know Rockstar is going to deliver, so we ain't even talking about Rockstar. We know Rockstar is about to deliver with that. But that's going to be everybody's game at the gym. But again, the fact that we had to wait so long for that, in the midst of this, right, you would think we have a lot more games that at least can hold a candle to that. There hasn't been none.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you guys' takes. It is the price. The pricing is one of the main factors. I would even go as far as to saying, like, single player games should never be, and I said this years ago when they first started implementing when EA and 2K Games started implementing the $70 price tag before even Sony was looking into it. Any first party, I mean, not first party, but any game that's any entry game come out, new title, it should never be $70 because you're almost practically doing it. Like, it doesn't matter if the premise is right, if the game looks fantastic. It's just that it just stretched too thin. It just stretched people's dollars too thin. And people was in there. I know I've seen that there was people that was on the internet was like, it's only $10 extra. That $10 extra can go on a game that's on sale.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. I mean, and if you make it 50, then what you got is a situation where then a person got an extra $20 to do something else
Season
with it.
pass.
Yeah, and you
Just think of it as a kid. Remember?
Right.
I remember specifically when I was a kid. My mom would take me to the store. She'd be like, "All right, you got like $60 to $80, right? It's your birthday or something like that.
Pick away.
Go on ahead and pick what you want."
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make that shit stretch.
You want to get as much for
As
your
much.
money. You ain't trying to walk away with one.
game for
You want
$60,
several.
$70.
You feel me? You want several, and that's the
Yes.
thing. We don't have that luxury
No, we don't.
anymore. We don't have that luxury. Like if you look,
That's the
at,
benefits of the
like-
services now, though, right?
I had to watch EA.
yes,
I want you to understand
yes.
something. I had to watch EA kill Visceral Games, one of the most impressive teams
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
ever seen. Right? They gave us Dead Space 1 through 3.
Mhm.
They can keep 3. I don't want 3, but they can keep Dead Space 1 and 2 is the ones I claim. Right? We get a second attempt at this with Dead Space remake with EA Motive, and they did a fantastic job with that. Guess what? We're not getting part 2 because Dead Space 1 ain't do well. Why do y'all think it is? Is it name recognition? No, I tell you what, it's pricing. I guarantee you it's pricing. That's why the game didn't sell.
Yeah, I
well.
don't know the game.
I
Yeah,
guarantee you.
even when I saw it when it released, I was like, "That
It looked
really?
amazing, but is it worth 70?
Good.
Well, this is where consoles, I think, needs to step into the PC realm on this. Okay, we look at a game like what is it? No
Rest for the Wicked.
No Rest for the Wicked. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, you know that game is not complete. It's still in beta, but it's only $35. And so, they did the same thing with Baldur's Gate 3. Like Baldur's Gate was like what, $30 when it was first in the beta or whatever, and then it jumped up to $60 when it was ready to go. Well, 60 to $70 when it was ready to go at launch. That's the biggest problem is when we get these games and you're asking me for $70, that game should already be complete. That game should already be there and ready to go and not have any problems whatsoever. But it's always the latter. If the game is buggy or the game has issues or it's lack of content, it's always something. So if they're wanting to push these games out because the publishers are forcing these games to come out, then how about you get a beta form out there to give people the option, hey man, I really am interested in this game. You can get it at a discount and then you'll get the enhancements later. And like for DLC and stuff like that, then you pay for that. But that's the only way that I think that they can thrive on doing anything the way that they are, because the way that these games are being put out there and forced out there, it's almost scary. Because like even for me, I'm the one to cap for EA a lot. But what they did to me with Battlefield, and Battlefield is always going to be my a more favorite shooter franchise than Call of Duty. But I will be buying the new Call of Duty because I know what I'm getting. Battlefield, they lost me. There ain't gonna be no day one buy for me because of what they did.
How did Battlefield lose you?
$110 for that, man.
How the hell did Battlefield lose you, but you still on COD? Explain that. Jesus.
Well, because you know what? Because, like this.
2042 early was rough.
Yeah, it was rough, man. Because I paid $110
clip after clipping the people and it wasn't killing them.
Yeah, I mean, I paid $110, and EA in Battlefield has never failed me on playing, right? And then you sit here and you take away the story mode, which, okay, that's fine. I'm thinking that they're going to put all the bells and with Levolution, all that good hot shit, right? Because it's going to be multiplayer only, and you give a half-ass game, and then for my reward for getting it 5 days early is for it to not work.
Yeah,
bro, come on. But then when I bought Call of Duty, I bought Call of Duty, the $110 version. Shit was working. It was popping. And I was hitting those. Well, first, you always I was getting back into Call of Duty. So we're doing about 15 kills, get up to that 20, 27, 30. Ain't no 45. Now, and then when you in that one in shipment, then you can go ahead and do I can do some killing. But yeah, anyway else. But
on a day right now.
I was on my day. But that's what I'm saying. But it's like I said, the peanut butter and jelly. It works. It's what I got, and I know that in the content comes in during the season pass, I ain't got no issues.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference, man. So yeah, no games that has a sequel coming, okay, and it seemed like it was a success. $70, I'm still going to frown up at it. But if it was a good game, I'm willing to do that. but not a first entry. No, hell no. I'm just not doing it. And I haven't done it. I still haven't done it yet.
But that's why services are winning, right?
Yeah.
And I just make this quick point. Hey, I
No,
do
you're
want to
good,
get
you're
into
good,
my
you're good,
fault.
brother.
But that's why services are winning, because to a point that we were mentioned earlier with Bit brought up, and this is something I will always vouch for. It is always better for these companies to get more of their money up front than it is to wait 3 years for a game to sell 5 million copies.
That's
Point
right.
blank,
Speak on
period.
it.
If I need to charge you $70 for you to be like, oh, maybe I go into the service, or this game is over here. Again, MLB The Show is a good example. PlayStation. Why? I mean, and I know it's more so on MLB. Does not matter to me. Why did you let that game go into Game Pass, where it's virtually free, quote unquote, while your own player base doesn't get a discount? It's not part of the service. You don't get nothing. You're paying flat $70 for that game.
Very
Point blank,
simple.
period.
When you because they listen to the wrong people. When they go, see the thing, they go on social media, they see this defense force that act like they can't do no wrong. They act like they give you a million excuses as to why it has to be like this. And then when they have the armchair businessmen who quote unquote have degrees and everything, they know every damn thing. They can't take a hit because it'll be bad for the company. It's like, no, asshole. It's called, it's called and we're being real at the whole thing. We're looking at just the situation here, right? It's all about it's all about first impressions, first of all. Okay. If one side is getting it for free and this is not on your home platform, but they're charging you more for the home platform, what the hell does that say about you? You're a sucker.
Agree, yeah.
You're a sucker. They see
And it was crazy. It is crazy. People talk about Xbox like the game still isn't available for you to buy. You can still buy every single game on the Xbox, within the Xbox ecosystem, or get it in Game Pass. It depends on whatever you see as value.
And it's already, and when every game that's on Game Pass, even day one, has got a 10% discount. So
just as an example, again,
it's like again, what are we doing here? PlayStation Plus Essential doesn't give you jack shit.
And they took stuff out, right? They took out the key games that were in there.
They took out the. I remember those games that y'all got at the start. It was like the games that was like it was like a few games. It was like, I think it was like 10 games you get for free.
It was like God of War 2018 was in there. Spider-Man was in there. I think
all those games were in a group, the collection. Because I remember Days Gone was on it too. All those games are no longer there. So now they just got through. They in this hustling phase where you got the essential, you got the plus, and then you got the damn ultimate tier.
Do you think that they'll bring out a Days Gone 2 like director's cut or something for them to even take that out? I mean, they pretty much disband that studio, but like
so.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so it was already confirmed that Ben Studio, the guys behind, they're making a live service game, and of course the idiots went and cried about it. Oh, that's bullshit! Why they doing that? Where's my Days Gone 2? The reason why you're not getting Days Gone 2, idiot, you didn't buy it when it mattered. If you do get a Days Gone 2, guess what you should be thinking? It ain't the PlayStation community. It's the PC community who's been out here supporting it. If sales are right, same here. If the sales are any indication, if Helldivers is any indication, where it's 60-40, you don't think Sony's looking at these damn sales going, you know what?
Yeah,
I might have to low key consider this. I might have to low key and listen. When you got the user interface on the damn system already, you are literally one half step away from saying, hey guys, all games are day and date on PC. And guess what?
Why not?
Guess who's going to be celebrating? All of us on this panel. Why? Because we don't for rat's ass. We care about performance, but we also, unlike a lot of these weirdos in this community who cry about these corporations, we actually talk to developers. We go to these events. We actually get to know them. We get to see the process behind this. We see the passion behind this. I care more about the developers than I do about the stupid console war. We have lost over 8,000 developers in 2024 alone. I want y'all to think about that. 8,000 developers are gone in 2024. Multiple studios have closed in 2024. At one point, something's got to give. Exclusive can go at that point.
one other thing, BitCloud, to layer on top of that is
That's a great point, Bit.
I also want to be able to play the game the way I want to play it.
Exactly.
I don't want
like if I want to play it on a Steam Deck and have that janky ass between 20 and 30 frame FPS going on.
You can get
I want to
that.
play it my way. If I want to play it on ROG Ally, if I want to play it on the PC, if I want to play it on the PS5 itself, the whole thing to me is the more you allow yourself to become an ecosystem instead of a closed off box, the more you're enthusing, the more that you're hyping me up to support your platform.
So can we just talk about this 1 second? I need you to jump in on this too, because I see a lot of people saying they devalue the box because they put on this. Let me tell you something. Devaluing a system would be taking it away completely. If it's still there, it's still there. You didn't lose any damn thing.
We talked about that earlier today.
You're not losing any damn thing. I don't understand
It
where
is.
this fucking mindset comes from. It drives me nuts. They say, you're devaluing the box. I have to buy the console. Motherfucker, you're not buying them as it is right now.
That's right.
You're not buying them now. So
Right.
wait, I don't understand this logic. Because if you were buying them now, me, Ken, Mega wouldn't be having this conversation about PC day and day with PlayStation. In fact, if we were to fast forward, we probably would be arguing with each other saying that there's no way to do that because that makes no damn sense. They making number one. You see what I'm saying? Y'all see how weird this gotten right now? We wouldn't have had this conversation. That is how bad it has gotten in the PlayStation community.
He said exactly what I said, Ham. Because I said, just look at. All you got to do is just look and see what the CEO is telling you. Just look and see. Look and see the top 25.
That's what I'm saying. It drives me insane that you can bring up exactly what the CEO says, and they still got ammo.
Right. Yeah.
It's
And they
crazy.
still shoot shots and saying something that what the CEO of Sony is telling you. And
they mean live service games. No, motherfucker. No. If the single player games ain't doing any good, what the hell makes you think they gonna just keep locking them onto a console? No, they gonna listen. They gonna throw you your little bones. If you don't bite the bone, they gonna send them over here. And I'm telling you right now, that shit's getting closer than you think.
Oh, it's right around the corner.
It's literally
right
around the corner. Like last year, I would say it's 5 years ago. Today,
6 months.
no, I'm literally like $3. Like, it's 3 months away, 6 months away. I'm on that.
Final Fantasy 16. It's coming.
It's crazy.
Well, just think about what Square Enix's pivot to with not only with Final Fantasy 16, but with Final Fantasy Rebirth. They said from there to being that 2 year bullshit, it's gonna be 6 months. It's gonna be it's most likely gonna come in the beginning of next year. But here, this game is going to come out here within a year's time. It is not going to be that 2 year bullshit. And Forspoken is going to be coming here. Another thing too is that, and this is me going to talk about because I brought these same people up earlier, and I was talking about my brothers, Tim Dog and my brother's Crap Gamer, right? I got a lot of love for them. I did a lot of work with them on BGST and shit, and met. Well, I didn't met Crap, but I met Tim at E3 and shit, and so I'll never talk down on my brother, but man, it is a sad time when you get out and you start saying that crazy shit about things being devalued. When, as you said earlier, is that where are you going to go? You know what I'm saying? If you're not, because Crap is definitely not a PC guy at all. So where are you going to go? Yeah. And what's the console that is only really doing that, which will eventually be nothing but Nintendo? You're not a Nintendo fan either.
Right.
So what? And all the games that you've gotten, the games that you've bought, the ecosystem that you supported the most, where you look and you can check your trophies, achievements, and all of that. It's going to be mostly on Xbox. So how the hell is it devalued when you're still playing your games and you can turn on your Xbox right now, even though there's games going on the other platform, even though and the old side of me don't like it, but the point of it is, I got my Xbox on right now, looking through the store of what I'm going to buy next.
Then you got
ain't gonna change nothing.
Okay. Well, what is my reason to buy the console if it's all on PC, motherfucker? Simplicity.
You don't want that PC life.
That's it.
that
A
simple.
console. What
It's
is more
literally that
convenient?
simple.
Hold on. Answer this, y'all. What's more convenient to take over to a friend's house or on a trip like we
Console.
want to
Console.
the
I'm not packing my
a
PC up.
console. A console. Are you
Packing my
your damn
PC.
You're right.
You ain't packing no damn PC.
You want me to get a $1,500 laptop, $2,000 laptop? No,
I don't
I'm not.
understand it. I'm definitely not doing that. You kiss my ass.
For what?
No, no.
No, I ain't doing that shit. No.
Man. DJ Berto said in the chat, "Is this a new a show ham?" Yes, it's light skinned. It's light skinned Brothers Incorporated. Light skinned Brothers Inc. That's what this is.
Oh,
Show is called.
Oh shit.
You're so
Yeah,
stupid.
this is a show that I'm gonna do. This is a show that I'm gonna do on the weeks that K Mega has the podcast of the crossover on his channel, just so I can continue to have something,
have
on
something.
Monday.
Yeah, I got
Right?
you. Got you.
Just moving on, because I don't want to spend too much longer here. I'll say we got about 15 minutes left, just because I want to respect.
Hurry up, sucker! I'm missing my Rachel Maddow, sucker.
Shut up.
Wait,
Yeah,
man.
you kind of hear that.
Show to watch.
I got my Rachel Maddow to watch.
I'm not talking about Twitter.
Let's go. And I got my Suicide Squad to play later. Well, no, I got Fight Night to do later.
Ducato with the 10 gifted TSWS gaming members. Thank you so much for doing that, brother. Dragonheart Yobi right behind him with another 10. Y'all dropped 20 up in there, brother. I appreciate all of y'all for doing that.
Great support.
All the support and whatnot. Shout out to brother Ducato and Mr. Legendary Yobi. I'm so used to calling him Dragonheart Yobi.
I just call him Yobi.
Yeah, I know. I should call him Yobi. It'd be a lot easier. But anyways, I wanted to move on to the question that that I want to have for the day, right?
Okay.
So let me go on ahead and remove this from the screen so I can just
Light Bright Incorporated.
Yeah, that's
stupid.
That's a
Y'all
stream there.
are so stupid.
Yeah, Light Bright Incorporated. Let's go.
Light and bright. All right, so the question of the day right here
Lord.
will small PC, will small like powerful PCs take over traditional consoles in the near future, or are we still a ways away from something like that?
You know, it's a good question. I say we're one more generation away from that completely taking off, to an extent, I could say, because I don't think everybody's immediately going to jump on board in that immediately. At least not yet. Like, you know, if you look at these consoles are damn near, like, look at your PS5. If y'all got a PS5 next to your rig, look how big a PS5 is compared to your, you know, your standard tower here. These consoles are getting bigger with each iteration. But I do eventually see that stopping. And, you know, they are going to end up being like some little, not almost say like a fire stick, but they will get to be those small little devices. But just not yet, you know, just not yet. So
yeah, I think we have some time. I do think that if Microsoft is able, if it's true that they're going to go a handheld route and they figure out how to do what the Switch is doing, but more so on a Series S level, for an example, that I think is going to be the first approach, because again, even that as a small form factor that you could hook up to a TV, whatever you could do with it, just having the versatility and being able to kind of step back and say, hey, how can we be different with our hardware and still keep that consistent ecosystem? Small form factor PCs, at least at the level that we're looking for, I still think it's some time away just because of the money side of it, price to performance. And that's why I think the handheld side of it is much more capable, because those are coming under $1,000. I mean, again, a Steam Deck's right at $500. A couple years from now, a few years from now, it's only going to go down in price as performance kind of goes up, right? And as they get that level, playground, and that's not even considering any innovation that happens in between that, right? Because if, for an example, ARM is able to be used in the console in a way that it can handle all the all the OS side of things, and everything else in the box can strictly focus on gaming, boom, you see a huge performance gain, and now developers have a little bit more room to play with things, right? So I think that that's what we're kind of getting into as developers to get more familiar with the new tools and whatnot. Again, you hear this all the time, but it is a fact of the situation. I think that's when we'll start seeing some of those small form factor PCs, but I think we'll see an extremely small form factor console before we see a version of a PC, because PC gamers are going to get this. Console gamers are still going to get a console. I don't think the console is going to go away for at least 2 more generations, just because of that ease of use. You can't get rid of that. If I can buy a box for $300, $400, $500, and it's guaranteed to work, I can just get turn it on. It's kind of hard to refute. I have a Series X and a PC. Most people are going to tell you, Steel, why? Well, there's games that I can't cross-play. There's games that aren't on both platforms. There's games, and also mainly because of ecosystem. Xbox bought me in 2001 with online gaming, the ecosystem. So that's kind of how I see things going, man. Small form factor PCs, they coming, but things we're some time away. I think we're some time away.
Yeah, no, I agree with Rain 100%. Like I just don't see the consoles going away fully until probably by the next generation, because I've said that the console will be looked at as the record at some point in time. And I think Xbox sees the writing on the wall. That's why they're going to probably work on, most likely, what seems to be, from all my indications, a hybrid kind of Switch-like type of console. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to try to really pump out the graphics on this puppy, because they want this to be a longer generation than the next. Because I think by the time that we get to that next generation after this next one, that's when the decline of consoles will be probably at its all-time low. And so, yeah, I just think that it's already kind of getting started. It kind of trips me out because I'm not a handheld guy, because I'm so old school. I like to play my games on a television. But all these people are just so enamored by the handhelds, by the ROG and the Steam Deck and all these other entries, and especially what the Switch has done. So it's a whole new game now in gaming. And so, yeah, I think that it will definitely come and take over at some point. And I think that's where Xbox sees the writing on the wall and saying, look, the consoles, having this console war discussion, this shit is irrelevant. The game is ecosystem, and it's about software sales. And I think by the time that because I ain't gonna give a damn, hell, we talking about I'm 48 now. Shit, mm-hmm. I'll be in my 60s. You think I'll be Sir X-Man's age? You think I'll be giving a damn about console war shit? No, bro. As long as I can plug it into a TV of some sort and I can play my games in the slow, cool pace like I'm going to be doing, hey, man, I'm cool with it. I ain't worried about it. So let me throw
this question back at y'all, because this is the question that I like to bring up. So this is the first generation where things are pretty much exactly the same, right? Where there's what differences are there between the series consoles and the PlayStation 5 outside of cracking and velocity?
I'll say the features. The features is different.
Features, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, look what we're talking about. What was the differences between the previous gen consoles?
Oh,
there was more differences.
Yeah,
right?
It was a huge difference. Yeah.
Okay. Now we also know, to Big Cloud's point earlier, everything is on x86 architecture, right? Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case before either. If things are already becoming more PC-like, why would anybody change how they develop games moving forward? If you can develop one form of the game and just scale it down or up depending on what platform you're playing on.
Right.
In turn, saving the devs a dumb amount of money. And we get games faster. Exactly. Instead of, for example, like GTA. Now, I think GTA would still do what it's doing, be a decade-long game because of online now, right? It's a more of a lived-in game, role play, all that great stuff. But these other games, like, let's just say, the next Elder Scrolls, for an example, you won't have to wait 7 years for. You'll be able to wait 3 years, maybe even less. We'll get back to that time to where we were getting multiple iterations of games in one generation. Right. And I think How do y'all feel about that? What do you think is going to be the next step if everything is on level playing ground right now for the most part?
Well, there's too
can't
many
change.
there's too many SKUs right now as it is, and we're about to get more because the PlayStation Pro is going to drop, and you know, and you got the Series S, then you got the Series X. Thank God Xbox is not taking the silly route and going to make a Series Pro, and so while PlayStation has a Slim, they have a regular, and then they have a Pro version that's going to come out, which is the same thing that they did last gen. At some point, and this is one thing why I was bringing up about time, these developers has got to develop for all of these different SKUs. And so therefore, if you eliminate that, make one console and maybe make a mid refresh at some point down the line, and it all just trickles down the way that you're talking about, Rain, then it's going to be sweet times. But what you're saying is that it's going to be a console. And maybe I think also I'm going to add a little bit more to this. From what the rumors were about what was supposed to be happening with this generation of consoles, I think it might be a possibility next by, taking interchangeable parts in and out of the console for longer use. I think that that's going to be a future thing as well, like where they don't have to just be locked into where that console will just be that, and then you can't alter it or change it or anything else. I think that might be something that they'll look into as well, because I think that the next generation is going to have to be a pretty long one. I thought this generation was going to be pretty long, but it wasn't. So eventually they got to have a long generation to sustain and catch up somewhat to PC, because PC is way ahead of them right now.
Yeah, go ahead and repeat the question one more time for Bit.
The question that I brought up is previous generations, there was always a difference between the consoles. This generation, there is a very minimal difference. And to your point earlier, Bit, they're both on the same architecture as well, which is PC essentially. Yeah. What do you think is the next step moving forward? Because I'll bring up the obvious thing first. You can't change anything. This can't be like, oh, we're going to completely change the processor. We're going to do things completely different now. Because things are being made also on PC. Everything is in tandem with each other now. Yeah, well, becoming more in tandem.
Right.
What do you think is the next step?
Next step, again, is going to be a platform. Well, it's going to be an open network at this point. Not even a platform. It's going to be an open network. And what I mean by open network is there's no such thing as an exclusive. All third-party games. And if you think about it, it's just like we had it with the PS2 generation. Yeah, I remember it. There was really no real exclusives. I mean, first-party exclusive. It was just like everything was there. You know what I'm saying? But Sony came out first with the PS2, so it gave that illusion, because it kind of felt like everything was exclusive to the PS2.
It was better there too,
right? Because you had Dragon Ball Z, you had all those games, Max Payne's, etc. But that's literally going back to an old regime that we grew up. We grew up back then. When we grew up, we didn't have dudes crying on social media about games. We were actually playing these games. You know what I'm saying? We were at these things called arcades. People don't understand. We were legit. You know, that's why I know that, dudes say behind them sticks. Literally, it was all about getting on them sticks and battling these games back then. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was always about. And speaking of that, okay, Megan still gotta get the smoke, but.
I'll be playing me some Fight Night tonight. So if you want to come on through, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Is it Friday or today? Is it Friday or Saturday or today?
Well, I'm gonna do it tonight, because I usually do it on Sundays, but I was watching the playoffs and it was really late. But I'm gonna do Fight Night tonight. So I mean, you can jump in if you want to. I'll be doing it here in about another 2 hours.
No, I just got bombarded with a puppy, so sorry. This is one of the newborn. He got
So going off of Steele's question, my answer to it is, like, I think sure they'll still have consoles available, right?
Yeah,
sure, you'll have your PC and everything, but I think the whole point behind it all will be applications, and it's applications via phone, application via tablet, like these applications that just work everywhere is really the only next step that is really left to be taken. Like, once I can comfortably, like I've always said, man, it'd be really dope if I could just put an SD card in my phone and just download a game.
Yeah.
A world where gaming is just seamless and we can all just game and there's no, it's like utopia and no ignorance. Hey, you know
But-
what? I'm cool with that.
but last point that I make, because this is another question I like to bring up. What truly matters more, the games or the platform that you're playing it on?
Stop it.
Actually, let's.
hate
It's not
that
even.
question.
It's not even the platform.
Because
I
it's
think
obvious.
the bragging, right? Yeah, it's the game.
The one that keeps people working.
Exactly.
Right.
As long as you got access to your entire library, and again, you have one side that is continuously doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, and telling you, hey, this is what we're going to give you. Nothing's going away. We're just giving you more. Hey, we're still going to do this. I just don't see the negative impact in that. And to y'all's point, to the conversation earlier, how that devalues the platform.
Again, it doesn't devalue the platform. All it does is take a bragger. See, dudes care more about bragging rights than they do about the games that they
Good
quote,
old
unquote,
idea.
champion. That's all they care about. They care more about counting games on one hand than they do about actually playing said games. And that's what they care about. And you're seeing that more and more of it. That's why sales figures come through. These are the main
games
dudes. They can't compete. They can't talk about them. They can't talk about games they don't play or they're fraud and act like the game's great. This is the thing that we're in right now. They're bad actors, and you're seeing a lot of that on Twitter. You see that a lot on YouTube content creators. You see a lot of grifting. You know, dude saying Ghost of Tsushima is amazing, right? But then it's confirmed for PC. Guess what they say? It ain't work. It ain't that good. It ain't that good all of a sudden.
Oh, it devalues it. It's not as good as the game.
So you see a lot of that, and
I say I hate that question because it's just like you're a bozo if you choose the other answer.
Oh,
But there would be bozos that would say that. Yeah.
Seems
Be honest,
obvious.
yeah.
It seems extremely obvious, but you see the way the conversations go, which is why I go back to when you try to put me in a particular box of, oh, you're this guy or this. Now, if I have to choose, I'm going to tell you I'm Xbox because of the ecosystem every time. It's not even a question for me. It's not just because games are games regardless. I'm still waiting for somebody to give me a reason to invest in the Sony platform. I haven't had one. Again, I use this as an example. I brought this on hand when he interviewed me originally. I bought a PlayStation 3 for Last of Us. I didn't play no other games on PlayStation 3. I bought a PlayStation 4 for Gundam Breaker 3. That's not even a game that you can get in the States. I had to import it from Singapore to get English subtitles. And then I played Spider-Man 2018. I didn't play no other games on there. God of War 2018. It's a pretty game. It's great. I hear you. It's quality. It's boring as fuck to me in the beginning.
Damn.
It should not take more than 3 hours. Like, cool, throwing hands and shit is cool, but maybe I'm just spoiled as a combat fanatic because I come from Devil May Cry. I come from the old school God of War. I just Black Desert Online. I love combat. Maybe that's just it for me. But I can still say, man, that's a great looking game. That's a damn good game. But it's not for me, right? But nobody has yet been able to explain to me, oh, Steel, well, you say this about PlayStation, this. Oh, what? But you say you're a gamer. Why have you invested? I need a reason. Factions was that reason. I still think it would have came to PC regardless, but that was my reason. Now that it's canceled, now that it's gone, I have lost complete faith in what Naughty Dog will ever bring to the table again. Because how do you work on something for 3 years, tell me that it was going to be a part of the original game before, then you decide to cancel it 6 months prior, and then 3 years later, it's canceled. Nah, man, for me, things aren't moving in the right direction. And as a gamer, I don't just automatically get rid of my consumer mentality as well, or forget my experiences, or what I go back to, who I am as a gamer. People aren't even confident who they am as a person. So when you get into this gamer talk, like BitCloud brings up all the time, and why I defend the point when he says, oh, we need to check achievements, gamer score, whatever the case. I'm not heavy on that shit. I can give a fuck less because I'm a multiplayer gamer. My gamer score is not going to reflect what you want me to think it reflects. I don't give a damn about that shit. But the problem is people capping and lying about things that they didn't experience and then talking about it like they know what they're talking about. That's not if you're willing to lie about games.
Down right now, yo.
What else are you willing to lie about?
Thank you. That's exactly right. I totally agree with that. No, it's just like too, like you can look and see, I mean, I stream, not all the time, but I do. I mean, you can check and see. And then, hell, even when people question anything on me, I even post my yearly shit on Steam and on on Xbox. Sure. I don't put my PlayStation shit because I don't be playing on my PlayStation that much anymore. But so, regardless of it, it is what it is, man. And we forgot in this as being content creators. Some of us have. I've had to get it back because I even forgot it sometimes. The fun and joy of what we do this for, and what gaming is all about.
The
like
joy
we
of
got
play.
into the, right. Yeah. We got into this to network, have a good time, and to game together and to enjoy the process. But there are so many people that want to take away from that joy by bitching and complaining and moaning and groaning, and it just it wears you thin. That's why, I used to listen to every podcast that used to come out. I probably will listen to 2 now, and there's no disrespect to the brothers on the panel or anybody else. It just, man, I'd rather be in here gaming, having a good time, and not listen to somebody in the chat that's going to piss me off to where I'm going to have to say something or just bring me into that dark place of saying, man, why the hell do people like this? We're just here to try to talk about gaming and enjoying ourselves. We ain't even trying to have one of them bullshit podcasts where people talk shit about
these dudes don't even play games together, dog.
They
what do we do? If we're not gaming together, I'm not trying to get no deeper in the conversation.
Thank you.
Like if we want to start arguing, come on, like what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah, so it is what it is, but it's good stuff, man. Good
so
stuff.
The last thing I was going to bring up before we going ahead and get the hell up out of here.
Sucker, you said that was the last topic.
No, I didn't, sucker.
Yeah, you did. Ranger said it.
Yeah,
I said,
as an old head from light skin.
He did say question of the day too.
Yeah. From the old head from light skin and ink. Your ass better get it together, young blood. Come on now.
Hey man, I ain't trying to listen to your old ass. You better go take a seat or wheel your ass into the restroom. And
if I go take a pee, you gonna see this camera off and me watching TV. Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but it has to do with this topic. Okay, so shout out to Kay Asante and John Wolf earlier.
Shout out to those brothers. They're good people.
They did the Gamers Playground, and they brought up something that I thought was really interesting. And I'm sure some of y'all have heard of this before. I was talking to Steel Rain a little bit before the shows had started, and they got this little tiny PC. Now, and things are getting smaller and smaller by the day, but as Steel said, to make things smaller, it costs a lot of money. I mean, just look at the SSD that you got to put in the back of the Xbox by itself, right? Easy, simple, small. Right, yeah, that costs a lot more money than it does just to buy, a raw piece. Right? So with that being said, I got to ask you guys, in tandem of the question of the day, how likely do you like when you see something like this that is more powerful, has more RAM than our Series X or something like this, right? Available. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think that this is something that's just like, yeah, it's cool, but it's obviously going to be a lot more expensive? Or do you think that this is slowly kind of working its way into the norm, kind of like the Steam Deck did for handheld PC?
For me, I think it's a cool concept. I think it's dope. It's definitely pushing the industry forward. It's cool tech. Will it be something that can take over? Like, what could it be that big of a deal? It kind of reminds you of the GameCube. You remember how small the GameCube was back then?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
It's legit bringing me GameCube vibes. If that's how systems are eventually, if systems can get that small, then that would be interesting. I ain't gonna lie. That would free up a lot of space on your, whether it be your entertainment system, your desk. In my case, it'd be cool to see it. Are we there yet, though? No, because again, judging from the specification in that, and it's in that compact little box, pricing of that is definitely the first thing that's coming to mind right out the gate. I am curious to how much that would cost. I don't think it would be $400 for a console.
Okay,
was it that size?
In case people are wondering how small this thing is,
it's the size of your palm. It's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
so I looked it up, and it's ranging right now. You can get one for right around $500 to $700.
That's
but
not bad.
It's not the same performance of a Series S though. They're gimping out on the GPU and the processor because they have to. If you're going to put something this small form factor, now again, to your point, it could be a possibility for the future. And if they figure that out, then that's going to be a dangerous space. But right now, you're essentially getting a mini PC, which you could use to do kind of whatever you want. I don't think you're going to be doing content creation on there, right? But if you want to use it for browsing the internet, maybe playing some little games here and there, like you would do if you had like an APU, for an example, where it's built in. That's that's for playing Fortnite on low settings, as an example. That's what more that kind of device is for. At least that's what I'm seeing. I'm doing some comparisons because for an example, that the graphics card that got in there is a Radeon 780M, and the 3080 Ti. I'm just using it because it's the card that I have. Is outperforms it by 150%. That's not even close to a 2070 Super. That means the 2070 Super outperforms it by at least 50%. As an example, and that's supposed to be what's comparable to what we have right now, quote unquote. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
give or take.
That's why getting into this territory is very dangerous, because when we get further into it, and why I get so adamant about it, unless you know what you're getting into in the PC space, do not invest in things that you only half-wittedly know about, because you're going to end up buying something, i.e. like a laptop, unless you're mobile, unless you work, you get in hotels, that makes perfect sense to get a laptop. But I see too many PC dudes who want a PC and then they get a laptop and be like, oh, I'm a PC now. Yeah, I mean, sure, but for that price, you could have got so much more bang for your buck and so many other things on top of that. So it's just, there's so much room for space.
I'm sorry.
No, I just think for me, and I'll be brief, because, when it comes to getting into this type of tech talk, I mean, if I'm ignorant to something, I'm not going to overly talk and look dumb. But I think for me, this thing right here is perfect for people that's on the go that wants to game. I think, you hook that up to a laptop, or something like that nature. And when you're on a business and job, and you want to, and even for streamers, like this would be great to take with us if we were going to PAX or something like that, and we wanted to have something to where we could all game together or something, and then we could put that little puppy together. But no, I mean, if you coming out and you get that and you buy it and expecting you're going to get 30 3070s, 3080, 3090 performance, then no. But for the price, and even though I know that it's not on the same level as what a console is, but I mean, look how small and efficient that is. That is something that you would rather carry with you than a console. So I think it has a place, but I don't think it's going to take anything over until that technology gets to that.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there's ever an opportunity for these little, for Xbox or PlayStation or even Nintendo to come out with a console similar to what Sega Genesis did with the Tower of Power?
No, I think that they're, like you were saying earlier, and I can't remember who said that, but they said it perfectly. Apps. I think you said it, Ham.
I did.
That'll be the next step, is the apps, and they'll still make the traditional console until the gen after that. Then I think that's when it'll be towards the end. But for something like that, why spend more money when you can put it on an app, and the television and the internet infrastructure is way better than what it's going to be now. And it'll work flawlessly. So no, I think that's just the perfect opportunity for the companies to go wireless or console-less than to make a little dinky thing like that and charge you money for it. Yeah, no, I think there's some things that can be too small and not attractive, because when you see this, for somebody that's from the outside looking in, that aren't into tech like that, they will look at that and think, oh, that thing's gonna probably be $100. And when they see $500, like, shit, I ain't messing with that, And even though it could be efficient and more powerful than any console that they've ever played, but just because of that, when you see it that small, the first thing that's coming to your mind is, well, if it's that small, then I can then
there's no way.
There's no way that
unless it's marketed
for me something. Right.
I mean, we're already on the Steam machine type of energy as of late. If you think the way these consoles are going, I remember those with the PS3 gen. So we're basically on the same, in a weird way, same path. We got pro models, we got standard. So I do like. It's cool to see something like this being worked on already. It does open up the eyes for the future holds, especially with how amazing PC gaming has exploded and just how it's gotten. But to say that this is going to be the be all end all one solution, I think we're quite a bit away before we get to there. But it is cool to see stuff like this being made. Like, I'm always excited for new tech. I like cool, innovative stuff like this. But to say this is going to replace the generic, your typical console, no, I can't say that. But it is a cool idea. It is something to look at. It is something to keep an eye out on for sure. It's a lot of things, and that's the good thing about it, man. Technology, man. Technology is incredible the way things go. So,
no doubt.
That's it.
All right. Well, with that being said, does anybody else have anything that they want to bring up before we get up out of here?
No, sir.
Nope.
All right, cool. Well, it was a fantastic show. We ran about a half hour over what I anticipated, but that's how it always goes in podcasting, unfortunately. But anyways, I really appreciate everybody for coming through. Let me go on ahead and let the panel shout themselves out and tell everybody where they can find you. I'll let that sucker K Mega go last. Big Cloud, where can they find you?
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate the invite. Good to talk to everybody. Steel, Mega, of course, my brothers here. Make sure you guys hit the like button in the chat. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button for the homie solo. And of course, you can find me, Big Cloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the works. You can also find me at LogNet and IGN with the curators over there with playlists. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Absolutely. My brother Still Rain finally got you back on the show. Really happy to have had the opportunity to sit here and chat with you. You always come with the knowledge and
man.
Very relaxed in your tone. Not so much like me that's hooting and hollering sometimes. You're very much more relaxed, so you give a little different taste. Pause. To the
pause.
No didn't, right?
No,
I appreciate you for coming through. Go on ahead and let everybody shut your mouth, K Meg. Let everybody know where
Look, man, you can find me Still Rain. That's Still Rain The T is a 7 everywhere. Google's the easiest place to get that information. And other than that, you can find me in the streets of X and Living Split Screen every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time on YouTube. It's the home of the RTS View real-time strategy. We'll pull ourselves out of the world, look at the darker crevices of the map, pull those resources together so we can build that foundation, not only for us, but potentially for those 3 billion gamers that Phil was always talking about. But other than that, man, it was a beautiful time to be on. It's always great to speak with like-minded individuals, at least when it comes to this gaming thing, man, because at the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to be about. If you don't see me active on Twitter like that, if you don't see me in these chats like that,
you gaming.
Real life and gaming, man. That's what it's about. So much love. Appreciate you for having me on here.
Absolutely. And I'd love to have the both of you brothers back on as at some point down near the future. This third brother, I don't know. I already spend too much time with him.
Don't worry about it. You ain't gonna see me next week, sucker.
Hey, Mega, going ahead and tell y'all where you can find him other than a dumpster trying to figure out.
Bro, there'll be dumpster over here finding finding a new dish for your mama so I can give her some water later.
The shade is real.
Oh man, no man, it was good when my brother made the bat through the bat signal. I was like, man, I'm gonna come through, say what's happening, man. I mean, it was good to see my. He said rain. He said Still Rain was in the building. I said, oh man, I gotta say what's up to my brother, man. I ain't talked to him in a minute.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So say what's up, and then he didn't tell me about Bit, so I would have definitely been here, man. So it was good to talk to you brothers, man. Have a good time.
I just know how you are. I mean, if I mention a PlayStation dude gonna be in here, you start to get nervous.
Nah, man, shit. I would. If you said a PlayStation dude, I would have probably been here 30 minutes early, just ready to get there warming up. Anyway, so come and check me out, KMega405 on my YouTube channel, on Twitter at KMega4. I'm also on TikTok, KMega405 there, and I will be streaming on Twitch tonight. Fight night. We'll be playing a host of fighters. I probably will start off with Mortal Kombat, get cooked because I haven't played Mortal Kombat in months. But yeah, we'll start off with that. Maybe some Killer Instinct, whatever. If somebody wants to come in here once, man,
I'll play you Mortal Kombat, but I'm not expecting to win anything.
Man, it's all good. It's all good. You know how it is. Only Tekken is the only thing that I'm gonna take seriously, and I'm not gonna be drunk when I'm playing Tekken with you to get that one little lousy win that you got. So,
Hey, man, I slid on you, though.
yeah. You called me slipping.
They go win.
Yeah, I beat it. I was lit, but I beat his ass after that one win he got, that sucker anyway. But now, hopefully, Yobi will come on through too. We'll have a good time. But man, come and check me out, man. Appreciate all the support, and make sure you subscribe to my brother Ham. Subscribe and support everybody on this panel, man, for sure. Man, thank you. God bless y'all, man. And now it's time for my Rachel Maddow. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. Well, it's been a phenomenal time, y'all, kicking it with you. Don't forget, we got a show tomorrow. You know, me and Loke do the lowdown every Tuesday, 1 p.m. in the Lord's time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, make sure you guys come through, check that out. I also got other shows going on throughout the week, Behind Them Sticks, bullshitting, yada yada. But I just want to do one last shout out to the three brothers on this podcast. Y'all made this a phenomenal experience, a good day, and a good way to open up this new show that I'm doing. So yes, Yobi, I am doing this show, but it's going to be every other week. The week that I do not have the crossover on my channel is going to be the week that I do the gaming forecast. So yeah, a little something new. But I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to your boy Hamsolo, and I'd love to see you guys back in the chat. Y'all are wonderful. But this is your boy Hamsolo 05 Gaming with TSWS Gaming here on YouTube, signing out and letting you know to keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.